Hello everyone. This is Daniel. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about Agape Love, and basically, there's such a thing as being filled with the Lord's Spirit. Basically, it's through baptism, and all that's good. But also, for those who are atheists or suicidal or have an empty heart, anyone who has an empty heart and they feel very empty and they have all these fun things around them, but they feel empty. Here's an advice to have. Go forward to looking for God's Spirit. Or as if you're an atheist, sorry if I said that, but also I'll be praying for you guys because this is what Agape Love is. Agape Love is gentle, it is generous, and is loving for those who are weak, who are without hope, who are in grave trouble. I mean, think about the homeless. Think about those who are not as fortunate as others. Agape Love even loves children. Agape Love gives children hope through patience and through teachings. And those children will grow up to be beautiful men and women of God. But, excuse me. If a child, I don't know, it's like anyone that puts in a child's heart, Jesus did say specifically that it would be better if they were in the depths of the ocean with a millstone on their necks, and you know, basically they're not existing in the. It's complicated, but sea is pretty much a troubling thing, but also agape love is the most beautiful thing you can ever have. And to give hope to those who are hopeless, to give hope to those who barely have any light, to give prayer to everyone, including a person in the next door, including the person next door to me in this house, named Brenton. Now, he is a very much he can sometimes get in depressed moods. He can sometimes be suicidal. And right now, with the knives open, we're gonna have to pray for him. Just pray that he does not end up killing himself because of depression. I did not say anything about that to him, but to get rid of spirits that are trapping you in their web, I'm sorry if you figured it out, but anyone that has a spirit that gives you depression, hopelessness, and other traits like that, God is more powerful than anything like that. His name is Jesus. Not God of the underworld, but God of life, of living life. He gives life to everyone. But God of the underworld, He gives death. He kills. He makes everyone full of misery. He makes everyone full of anger. He gives everyone false senses of knowledge and hope and security. The God of the underworld is a God that He wants everyone dead. But the God of the living life, our God of the living, wants everyone to be with Him and alive. But He is not. He's not arrogant. He is not proud, and He is not an all-hating God. He's just a gentle God that wants to protect his children, yet he does not want anyone to perish. It is by the resurrection of God that we are saved. Through him, by him accepting us. Now, now the God of the living, I mean, he does not give you direct orders in heaven. He does not do anything. He does not tell you to do this or that. You just automatically know what to do, and you're always in paradise there. It's called paradise for a reason. The God of the living lives in the land of paradise, and he really cares for everyone. He really does. And for everyone that just wants death and to kill themselves, and they would rather be dead because they think this world is hopeless, let me tell you, it is not by the hopelessness by the world, but by the hope of the God of the living. He gives us hope, guys. And he also gives us life after death. And it does say, "O death, where is your sting? Where is your victory, O death? For we are once dead and slain, but we are now alive." So, be very cautious to those who are, feeling like they should kill themselves or atheists or anything like that. These types of people are full of misery, yet they don't know what true joy is. So pray for these people and also pray for Brenton. Of course, he might think he doesn't need prayer if he sees this. I'll be telling you that I still cared for you. I'm not Catholic, but I still care for you. I'm not judgmental, but I'm full of love for those who are feeling hopeless. I'm not giving direct orders to you. You have your freedom. And even if you don't change your mind, even if God doesn't change your mind, you still would have had a chance to say, maybe I was always miserable because I didn't think the right way. Or that I didn't know what pure joy was. Or I didn't know why I'm so miserable these days. Let me tell you, I'm a protector of the earth. Even though the lights are on, even though energy is wasted through dark restaurants where much of the energy is wasted, much of the high-rise buildings where the energy is wasted, and the city lights are shining on everywhere, but they should be turned off at night. Even though there are many screens in New York City, in that Times Square, where the LED wastes, hesitate to not to waste its power, and I would say even in some areas in Japan, in some areas it's like you go through a whole tank of gas the size of a house in one day. And they have several tanks of gas for a week. Someday that gas will run out. So all we need to do is save energy, but not by making things more efficient. That only does a little bit of the job. But just by reducing the amount of light bulbs, reducing the amount of waste done by television, waste by computer, and so on and so forth. Make the screens a little darker, have an automatic dark screen at night, and keep the room darker at night. Have a blow switch where if a light bulb blows, that it only goes to one light bulb, not two light bulbs. And also, having more efficient engines for the car. And if you must, only have one car for the family. But if the family has two jobs, well then, or more. Make sure if the family has two jobs or more that it's like there should be a better pay system for America, and that everyone should have the opportunity for equal pay, but who gets to be paid? And of course, one car being run at a time so that there's no waste. There should be less cars on the street because a lot of people believe in waste, and less SUVs. I believe in less SUVs and more efficient cars like wagons and sedans. Many SUVs have only 5 seats and a big cargo area. But you can also get a sedan with nearly the same amount for groceries. And it's just extra space in the SUV area that you don't need. And those 5 seats, it's maybe more comfortable, but all we need, guys, is literally, 5 seats or 7 seats, depending on the need of the parent. If the United States is overpopulated, like China is, then all we need is a 4-seater car and also more efficient engines, and also only 1 or 2 children per household. That's going to be a good thing for America if there's so many people, and especially a good thing for China and Japan, even India. Those countries are way overpopulated, and they desperately need 1 child per household. And some countries like Mexico are overpopulated in some areas and not others. And those countries, they're full of pollution, and these people need less children. I mean, it's good to have children. It's good to give life, but really, reap life. Make sure the animals are living. Make sure the earth is not dead. But if that's not the case, then we would have polluted our planet beyond recognition, because it did say in the Bible that even spitting on the ground is polluting the earth. And what should we say? That every molded food, every molded trash, and trash full of disease in one container, and then putting it in landfill, that is millions of times worse than one man's spit. Millions. I can't even count it. And that the Bible said that we must keep the earth clean. Yet people keep the earth dirty these days. But that should not be the reason for our suicide, because in the Bible it said we will be filled with knowledge. So what kind of knowledge? It said gnosis, for knowledge. For the world will be filled with knowledge. And that is like in somewhere in the four Gospels, I think. If the world is full of gnosis or knowledge, and it did say in the New Testament about that, and we have the gnosis of what do you call it? Denominations, and many denominations everywhere, and we have Baptists, we have other kinds of Baptists, we have other kinds of Pentecostals, we have other kind of with other kinds of Catholics, so we have other kinds of Orthodox and Lutheran everywhere. We have all kinds of splits in our church. And that's due to gnosis and sin. So don't commit suicide because of that either. We have hope in the very end if we believe in the one source that gives us life. Believe in the living Lord. Believe in the living God. It's either the living God or the Lord of the dead. And we must believe in the living Lord, our God. So, when we speak life, we speak with living life. And we speak life into people. But if we speak death, and with familiar spirits, we speak death into other people. And the thing we don't get is that we're praying to dead people and gods in the Catholic Church. You know, the Catholic Church is filled with death. But we are to be filled with life. We are to be filled with living life. And the Gnostics are basically filled with knowledge. But that kills. Not all knowledge is good. Not all knowledge is good. So we must live according to life. And what life is that? Forever living in a kingdom of life. And living in a kingdom that is according to what gives us life. Because our God of the living gives us life through His breath. And His breath is what gives us life. You know. Sometimes there's this one time when I spoke life into God. Not literally, but I gave Him sort of a life feeling. Like life into something. And I got to feel what it was like for a mother to see her first son. The very first sigh of her mother. And the very first sigh of her breath. The bride. The one in Jerusalem. And the very first breath of life is very beautiful. The very first breath of life into a deer, and that springs up and then prances into joy because it knows how to move. And that very living life comes from the sun. And that sun is also what gives us life, and that light, and that's what gives us life. And that energy is very little. It gives very little energy to the plants, but when the animals eat a lot of it, and the other animals eat it, they get a full amount of energy. They get a full amount of energy and they thrive with that energy. So, energy is life. And if we pollute with that energy, we're causing death. So think about it. But if we burn the oil, that may give life with the word and with by singing at night. But back then, people did not sleep at night. They only back then they did not sleep at day, nor were they awake at night. They were always awake by day. They were always awake by day, but they were always asleep by night. And when the Israelites or the Christians said, if anyone shall be awake or sleep, if anyone would be awake by night and sleep by day, they would be called shameful. Yet we always are, sleeping at day and awake by night. And we burn energy because of that. So why should we do that? Why should we only care about the things of the dead, yet not know what the things of the living are? Things of the living are life with energy of right now. When I'm moving the camera, it's burning a tiny bit of energy, and the very bit of energy gives us life. And even though the things die by energy, even though things die, yet they give life to us in a little bit of energy they have. A little bit of ray of energy that gives us life. A ray of life. Yet, only few understand. So I'm going to give you a ray of understanding. If you don't understand, well, that's okay. You may understand soon or you may not. Depends on what you want to understand. Only depends on what you understand. Only depends on what you want to understand. Anything that is alive, you must accept into your life. And the Lord of the living is abundantly filled with life. He is filled more than life. He is filled with more than life. He is filled with holiness and paradise and beauty and happiness and joy and peace and gentleness. And he is calm. He is filled with more than life. He gives life. He gives life to all who really need it. And need it, they will get. Alright, I'll be done now, okay? Bye.